And there's one actress who's in season 2 who plays the nun and also plays the coffee um, clerk. Not the coffee clerk, but the coffee owner. And I've seen
Oh yeah.
her in like,
Oh, Nina Sosanya is her name. She
yes.
shows up in a lot. She was once again. She was in Doctor Who. She was. Do you remember the David Tennant episode with the girl who can like draw stuff? And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. She's her mum
Yeah.
in that. I know
Yeah.
that. But she's like she's one of those British actors who shows up in like quite a lot of stuff.
I always see her in something with David Tennant. Like,
Yeah, wasn't she was in Love Actually as well, I think.
yes, Love Actually. And she was also in like Staged, with this their,
Oh yeah. They're like locked down.
yes, the lockdown series that they did that also became like a real TV show later on,
Yeah, yeah. They did like
which,
3 or 4 seasons of that. That came from
yes.
Good Omens, I think, as well.
Yes, yes, it did. Which honestly, I like David Tennant and Michael Sheen's chemistry, just like on and off screen. I feel
Mm.
like they connect really well as actors, and I don't know. I try and think of like other actors that connect that well, but like I can only think of like fandom examples, like
Yeah,
Colin Morgan and Bradley
Bradley James.
James.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
or
That's another one.
yeah. Oh my god. Watching this show did make me think of Merlin just like a little bit, because I did enjoy that show a lot, and it was like, magical elements, but it was, I don't know if I want to say underrated, but not as, I guess, popular as other shows.
Yeah,
But no, go ahead.
I've no. I just say I only saw like season 1 of Merlin. I think when it first aired.
Mhm.
I remember that back in like 2008. I remember because it was like the kind of off-season replacement for Doctor Who. Is how it started. I mean, you can tell there's definitely like a vibe shared between them. But yeah, but I do have lots of friends who are into Merlin. I saw all the stuff. It's like I've never seen a single episode of Supernatural, but I know
Mhm.
like most of the plot just from having been on Tumblr when it was really popular.
Mhm. Yeah. It's funny cuz like me, as I've gotten older, I feel like I left like the fandom stuff behind, cuz I was such a huge fan of Merlin that I rewatched the series like 3 times over. And like Supernatural, this is very worrying. I've rewatched that show like 10 times over. Like,
That's a long show as well.
yeah. Mind you, I got into the show in middle school, so I had nothing else to do, you know. All
Yeah.
I did was go to school and like do homework, and then came home and I rewatched Supernatural because my cousin gave me his Netflix password, and I was like, "This is the only thing I want to watch."
Did you like stick it out like right to the end to the finale?
I stopped watching in season 10 because they killed off a female character that everyone really liked and I really liked, but then
Right.
they brought in Lucifer's son, and I was like, interesting. I'll give it a shot. And then I gave it a shot, and I was like, it's fine. And they announced that the show is ending, and I was like, okay, well, now I have to catch up because you're not gonna leave me in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd heard that a lot of people really didn't like the finale, but I sort of watched that from afar.
I'm not gonna lie, like, I always knew that the finale of Supernatural was gonna be disappointing, just because like a show can only go on for so long for it to continue to be good, and Supernatural
Yeah.
stopped actually being good long before
Yeah.
that finale. So it's like,
I heard it was meant to, that's another like kind of example. Wasn't it only meant to be like 5 seasons? And
mm,
then they just keep going because it was so popular. And then
mm-hmm.
it just kind of dragged on like limited series sometimes too.
Yeah. Also, when Supernatural was first out, there was always the threat of it being canceled because it came out around the same time that Smallville came out,
Yeah.
and people kept comparing the two shows, and they're like, this isn't as good as Smallville. But then I think after season 4, when they started introducing the apocalypse, and like Supernatural was like, they did like the apocalypse, like the actual like biblical apocalypse. Like, here's the Lotus, here's like the four horsemen, angels, devils, God, like all these biblical characters in the
Yeah.
show. So that's what really drew up a lot of like attention for the show. The season 5 was actually a very good season. Like season 4 and 5 were really solid. So of course after that success, they're like, let's keep it going. You know?
Most
Yeah.
profitable show on the CW.
It's funny that you say that because apparently the CW has not made any money since it became the CW.
Really? And that was like 2004. Like what?
Yes.
My God.
Yeah, apparently they haven't actually like made a substantial profit since it became the CW after like going from like UPN to the WB, and they like canceled a huge flagship of like shows that they had, mainly shows
Yeah.
with like black casts, and they were like, hey, let's do Smallville, let's do Vampire Diaries, let's do
God.
Supernatural, let's do all this stuff. And
Always
yeah,
the way. You'd think that like the Flash and Supernatural or something combined would have given them like a few dollars.
I don't know.
God.
I don't know. I
Riverdale, even that was popular for a little bit. Like something, surely.
not even for a little bit. Like throughout the entire run, people were still watching that show, and I don't know if it
Yeah.
was unironically, but I never liked that show, if I'm being
I
honest.
no, I didn't. I think I definitely was. It turned into a hate watch about like 5 episodes in. I think I bailed. Is it the end of season 1 where like Archie's dad gets shot by like the guy in the hood?
I
I think
think
that's where I
so.
stopped watch. I think that's where I stopped watching. I don't think I bothered to pick it up again when it came back for season 2.
Wow. I think after there was a season where like every other episode was a musical episode, I was just kind of like,
Oh yeah.
we need to wrap
And
this up.
weren't some of them like musicals like written by one of the showrunners or something? Or am I making that up?
I don't know. I just know they did like a Heather's one and a Rocky Horror one,
Yeah. Did
and
Legally Blonde, didn't they?
I don't
Or am
think
I...
so.
No. What was the other? It's because it was like the ones that like high schools do because they're like cheap to get the rights for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't remember. I want to say Hairspray, but I don't think it was Hairspray. It was
That
like
was yeah.
I know they did a Heather's one though.
They definitely did the hair. I remember the hair as well.
Yeah, I think they may have done Grease, but then
Yeah,
I
might
might
be
be.
mixing it up with Glee, which is like fair enough.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But honestly, just brought that up to say like most shows that I started watching in like a fandom space, they like they're good for a while, but then they're bad. So with season 2 of Good Omens, I was like, this is going to be good. I know it's going to be good because I have faith in Neil Gaiman, and it was great. I love it, but I feel like with season 3, um, I think that I don't want to say it's going to be bad, but there is this weird like season 3 curse that some shows have, where like the
Yeah,
first season, good solid foundation, great background, we're starting off really strong. Season 2, continue the story, awesome, you hit all the points, it's great. Season 3,
yeah.
uh
I
it's
think
not giving.
season 3 is really where like it's either going to be like incredible and you're like, oh, these guys know what they're doing, or it's going to absolutely torpedo the entire show.
Yeah,
It really goes either way.
yeah, and I think that with having like David Tennant and Michael Sheen, you have two very strong actors to help your show. And even with what we saw in like the final season of season 2, which oh my god, I was so I don't want to say I was happy, but like when
Yeah,
you spend so much time in your life watching shows that queer bait you to death,
yeah, no, exactly.
and
That's, do
you
you
finally
remember when
have
they?
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, do you remember when they leaked it in that trailer for like they put out like a trailer for Prime Video or where they put out like a trailer for Valentine's Day or something, what it is, and it had the Crowley Aziraphale kiss in it.
It did?
And actually, yeah, it was like a montage of kisses, and for some reason they put and this was like before it dropped. The series was released. I think it was for Valentine's Day, and it's people started memeing it because it was like it was one of these things where like it was like a shot and then like a word over it, and they were doing that, and the Crowley and Aziraphale one had like a specific word over it as like part of the bigger marketing phrase.
Mm.
And I can't, and so people started making fun of it by just like typing the word, but I can't remember what the word was. But I remember that they leaked it in the trailer, and everyone was like, "What the
Oh my god, I can't believe I missed that.
Yeah, I remember it's good. They took it down like 30 minutes after they put it up, but lots of people like screen recorded it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you would want that to be a surprise.
Yeah, and
Yes.
and it just ceased to be thanks to Amazon.
Wow. One of these social media managers definitely got fired that day because they're like,
Yeah,
"Bro,
how
don't
do
mess
you
up the
like?
little don't spoil the little gay show. We need these people to watch it."
Oh my
Like
god, we have to make them not certain if they're being queer baited or not until that last episode.
we need them to hold on.